There's gonna be something that I'm gonna say. The whole call might not be for everyone, but one part of the call is gonna be for someone. Sometimes all it takes is for us to ask. And even before this business, I asked the universe for direction. I was, started my personal training business after I got my master's degree, and I was lost. I had low confidence. I didn't know what direction my life was headed in, and I just asked for guidance. Last night, the Kings did an amazing training, and if you guys were not on it, you need to go back and listen to it. They talked about how people get overwhelmed and things like that, and how a few ways that you can overcome that, right? They talked about focus, and they showed a couple of videos and the Karate Kid, things like that. He used his biggest adversity as his biggest blessing, let's say. I want to talk to everyone today about how you can be the best leader, because let's face it, if you can't lead yourself, you can't lead a team. And we've heard that before. And it's not easy leading yourself. I don't know if anybody else, sometimes you just have those days, you just want to eat Cheetos and ice cream and just lay on the couch, you want to cry. And I mean, Miss Sherry and Miss Batista are laughing, Miss Caroline Baker's laughing, so they know what I'm talking about. Mr. Ransom's laughing too, he knows. Miss Collins, you too. So you just have those days. And I was listening to Tony Robbins over the weekend, and he said one of the stupidest questions that I get asked from the media is, don't you ever just have a bad day? Don't you ever just wake up and you just want to eat Cheetos and just lay out? And he's like, of course I do. He's like, nobody wakes up in this perky mood and you're just happy all the time. I've gotten asked that. People are like, are you always this happy? And I'm like, first of all, it's a choice. Second of all, it's emotional fitness. You have to work on it. Emotions are like a muscle. Y'all are gonna need your notebooks today, so if you don't have your notebooks already, you better go grab them. Emotional fitness. And coming from a trainer, and Mr. Julian Lewis, we've talked about this before on the calls too. Think about it. Just like you have to work out a muscle, your emotions have to be worked out. It's called emotional fitness. Write that down. Everybody has an emotional home. We all have somewhere inside of us that we resort back to when things aren't going our way. When things aren't going our way, when we feel like shutting down, when we feel like giving up, there's a place inside that we go to. Now, really quick, I want everybody to think about what's that place for you. When things are going wrong, when somebody says no to you, when somebody says something to you, when people are negative, where do you go inside? So I want to tell you the analogy of the thermostat versus the thermometer. The thermostat controls the temperature based on what is going outside. It controls it. The thermometer, on the other hand, goes up and down based on what's happening on the outside. So let's say if your internal thermostat is set to 68, all right? Internal thermostat is set to 68. When you start doing good and you start having success and you start getting all these IBOs and everybody starts making money and all this stuff is happening, that fear of success, because we talk about failure a lot. We talk about the fear of failure, things like that. But people have a fear of success as well, because that internal thermostat is set at 68. When you go higher and higher, things start getting hotter and hotter, and you go up to 70, 72, 73, the internal thermostat kicks on and he goes, nope, buddy, you're coming back down. You're not going there, you're coming back down. And that's what happens. Same thing if you get lower than that. If you start to get into a bad state, the thermostat kicks on. If you're at 65, it goes, nope, we're going up to 68, and you'll come back there. But the beautiful thing is that we have the power to change that temperature. So think about right now. Think about what your emotional state is right now. Leaders lead with the emotional state that they are currently in. So think about it. Right before you get onto one of these morning calls, if you just got into a fight with your spouse, are you going to be in the best mood? Probably not, right? So when you get on this call, what's your emotional state like? Now imagine if you had to speak on the call. Think about it. There's certain things that everybody has rituals. Michael Jordan, before going into a game, had a ritual. Kobe, RIP, had a ritual before going into a game. People that have leadership roles and that have to perform know how to change the temperature. They know how to set that internal thermostat to whatever they need it to be or whatever they want it to be. So I want you to think about it right now. Before we started the call, what was your energy like from a scale of 1 to 10? Type it in the chat. Think about a person that would be, an average is about a 5 to 6 answer, okay? Since we're all like super freaks and we're just super, super awesome, we're like higher, okay? Now, the average that people usually answer is anywhere from 5 to 6, depending on how they're feeling, okay? Now, let me ask you, would you do business with a person that's a 5? Probably not. Would you get into a relationship with a person that's 5? Probably not. Now, majority of people, the average answer was 7 to 8. So would you do business with somebody that's a 7 or 8? Probably. Would you get into a relationship with somebody that's a 7 or 8? Probably. Now, how do you change that? So when you're in a lower state, how do you change that? There's 3 main parts that it takes in order to change the thermostat, okay? In order to change your energy. So write this down. Number 1, your physiology, aka your state. Now the state can be mental, emotional, and physical. So write that down. So physiology equals state equals mental, emotional, and physical. Now the second thing is your focus. Number 2 is focus. Because we know where your focus goes, your energy flows. We know that focus equals feeling. Write that down. Focus equals feeling. Now number 3 is language. How you speak out loud and how you speak to yourself is very, very important. The video that Mr. Thomas showed us with Steve Harvey that day, how did he speak to himself? How did he say to speak to yourself? In a positive way or in a negative way? In a positive way. You have to speak out loud what you want. We know that negative things travel faster than positive, just like news. Negative travels faster than positive, about 10 times faster. Anything you say out loud is magnified 4 to 7 times as much as something you don't say out loud. So if you say something negatively out loud, you are magnifying it by 40 to 70 more times than something that's positive that you say or don't say. Keep to yourself. So start being mindful of what it is that you say to yourself. Now, last week I said that before a soldier goes into battle, he has everything that he needs. I want you to think about these 3 things that I laid out and think about a number between 1 to 10 where you're at on the scale. How is your physiology? So if I were to look on the screen right now, how many people have shoulders hunched over? You got your head down. I mean, you might be writing notes, but you got your head down, your shoulders might be hunched over. You might be breathing kind of, fast. How would you sit if you were in a peak state? If you were a 10, how would you be sitting? You'd be sitting like you're in the command chair of your life. When Mr. Thomas sits down on his throne that he has over there, he sits like he is in the command chair of his life. Nobody else is controlling it but him. How many of us right now, I want everybody just stand up really quick, stand up. Stand up and sit back down like you're in the command chair of your life. Sit down like a commander would sit down. All right, good. I like it. Okay. Now think about your focus. For the whole month of January or even last year coming into this year, what has your focus been? What have you been focusing on? Because remember, I talked about the guy with the fish, that story. You guys can go back and listen to that. You can go on my Instagram or on the channel, wherever. Think about that story. Pray first, aim high, and focus. So what has your focus been? Have you been focusing on what you don't have or what's not happening, or are you focusing on what you do have and what is happening? And it's very easy right now to get overwhelmed, and I understand that 100%, trust me. I already had a couple days this month where I just wanted to eat Cheetos and bonbons like Mr. Thomas says, even though I don't eat bonbons, but I just didn't want to do anything. I just did not, I wasn't feeling it. But then these are a couple of things that I had to do in order to get out of that. Because when you're in a dark place, when you're in a room all by yourself, what thoughts do you have with you? Because in the end, that's all you have is yourself and your thoughts. Are they good thoughts or are they bad thoughts? And you're the one that controls them, because remember, you just sat down in the command chair of your life. You have the power to change it because you are bigger. Who you are is bigger than anything that could ever happen to you. Who you are is bigger than anything that can ever happen to you. Think about it. You've gone through so much and you're still here. And what do I say? If you're not dead, you're not done. Even though you might not know what your purpose is, or you might not know why you're here, or you might not know why you met this person or that person or doing this or doing that, but everything is already laid out. There's a plan, there's a purpose. It's unfolding. You just have to be present to it. And number 3 is language. Start being more mindful of how you talk to yourself. What are you reading? What are you listening to? Who are you listening to? When we're growing up as a child, are we told what to do or are we given the choice of what we can do? Are we told? Told what to do? Yes? Okay. We're told to eat our vegetables. We're told to finish the broccoli. We're told to finish the peas. We're told not to run up and down the stairs because we're going to crack our head open and we're going to have to go to the emergency room, right? All these things, we're told to do these things. At a young age, we're not really practicing choice or decision-making skills. As we get older, once you're 18, you're basically out the door. Okay, not in my culture as much, but you're just basically out the door. It's like, okay, bye, go fend for yourself, have fun, tell me how the world is, see you later, send me a postcard, right? So, as a child growing up, we're told what to do. Once we're 18, we're basically told to go live our life, do whatever, and told to make every single decision in our life on our own. Our decision making, for some people, because this is something I found for myself. Growing up, you look for everybody else to tell you what to do. You look for everybody else to make the decision for you. You look for everybody else to tell you what's right and what's wrong. But last week I told you that before a soldier goes into battle, he's given everything he needs. So why do we look to other people for validation on our decisions? Because we weren't taught how to make decisions. In school, we're taught what to think, but we're not taught how to think. Anything that happens from here on out in your life or in your business, and I've caught myself doing this too, I'll ask, because we talked about trusted advisors, right? So if it's a life decision, I'm going to talk to my mom, I'll ask my mom, I'll talk to my dad, I'll ask my dad, talk to my husband, I'll ask my husband. And everything that everybody says affects your decision. Think about the fact that you already know what you want. Your gut tells you what you want. You already know inside what it is that you want. What makes you happy? What makes you sad? What gets you motivated? What pisses you off? You already know all of these things. But yet we're still looking to the world for validation. When it comes to social media, why do we think it's so hard to go live on there? Because we're fearing the judgment of people. The only judgment that should matter is your own. What do you think about yourself? What do you say about yourself? How do you feel about yourself? Mr. Thomas, over and over and over, we've heard him. I don't give a rat's back in. I don't care. And that's how you got to be in business, especially. You were given everything inside of you before you came into battle. So now that we're sitting in the command chair of our lives, I'm going to give everybody a couple of things that I learned this weekend, and it just blew my mind away. These are some things that were taught to McGregor. Don't judge him based on the fight this weekend, but these are some things that he was taught, okay? How many of us, if you've ever heard Les Brown speak, you know that he kind of goes back and forth dialogue with like a couple different people in his head. How many of us feel like we've ever had different voices in our head? Okay, cool. For those of you that were strong enough to admit it, cool, thank you. So I'm gonna give everybody a board of trusted advisors today. And we say to use trusted advisors, and yes, you should. You should seek counsel from those that have already been there, that know what they're doing, all of that stuff. But in the end, if you can't have yourself come to that conclusion, or it just doesn't feel right in your gut, you know. So now check this out. I said the first thing, that a soldier or a warrior is given everything he or she needs before he goes into battle. So if you are not driving, because I know my husband's driving, and if you're able to, I want everyone to close their eyes for a second. Every single person on this line, Ms. Thomas, you too, every single person on this line has a warrior inside of them. So now, when you close your eyes, what color do you see? If you were to think about a warrior and give that warrior a color, what color do you see? Okay, now open your eyes and write that color down. If you were to think in your mind that you have a magician inside of you, this magician is the fun side of you, okay? We know Mr. Thomas has this side, okay? He has so much fun. Think about it. This magician knows that life is a game. He knows that it's like a chess game, and he gets to control the pieces and where they go. And he knows in the end, it all comes down to it's a game. He looks at it as a game. So if you were to close your eyes and think about a magician, what color is that magician? What color do you see when you think about a magician inside of you? Write that color down. So the warrior, first one, this person is strong. This part of you is the part that always manages to get things done. That when things get hard, he doesn't run from it. He goes towards it. He figures it out. He makes it happen. He's strong. He's fearless. That's the warrior. And you got your color. The magician, all fun and games because he understands that life is a game. You already got your color for that. Now the third one. Everybody has a lover inside of them. All right? We call it AKA whale. Okay? Everybody has a lover inside of them. The part that just sees the best in people, just loves everyone, is just always coming from a place of compassion. When you close your eyes and you think about the lover inside of you, what color is that? What color do you see? Just the first color that comes to your mind. Now write that color down. All right. Now the last one is the sovereign. Every single person inside of them has a sovereign, aka a king or queen. Every person has a sovereign or a king or queen. S-O-V-E-R-E-I-G-N. Sovereign or a king or queen. Now this person here commands and controls the land. They are in charge. They are the ones sitting in the command chair of their life. And they know that just by a snap or just by a hand, just by something, one gesture, they can control everything. If you close your eyes and you think about the sovereign, what color is that? What color do you see for the sovereign? Write that down. Write that down. Write the color down. Now, think to yourself for a moment. If all of these people came together in your head and had a meeting, what would be happening? Okay? So now I want you to come from the place of the sovereign. Okay? You're in the command chair of your life. You know that you rule the kingdom. You know that you're in charge. If the warrior came to you and explained all of the problems or whatever it is that you have going on, and you said, king or queen, this and this and this is what's happening. Right now, in one sentence, what would the king or queen tell that warrior? What would it tell the warrior to do? Whatever your first response was, write it down. It could be focus. It could be get it done. It could be figure it out. It could be you got this. Whatever the first thing was that came to your mind, write that down. Now, if you're coming from the place of a magician, okay, the fun place of a magician, and that magician is giving you personally advice on what to do in your situation. Tell the magician where you're at. Tell them what you're feeling. Tell them what you're going through. What advice is that magician going to give you? Whatever that first sentence is, write it down. Now, if you yourself go to the warrior in you, find that person that in the darkest moments of your life, you turned into this person. You turned into the warrior, the one that did not take no for an excuse, the one that knows that he's going to figure it out because he's so strong and so focused. If you were explaining everything right now in your life and in your business that's going on to the warrior, close your eyes. What would the warrior tell you right now? Write that down. And if you notice, everybody is giving you a different answer. Now the last one. If you go to the lover in you, the compassionate, caring person in you, and you tell them everything that's going wrong, all of the stuff that's happening, all of the good things, everything, and you close your eyes, what would the lover in you tell you to do right now? Write that down. Now look, I want you to look at your answers, and I'm going to ask somebody on the line to either volunteer, or I'm just going to pick Mr. Thomas because I saw him doing the exercise and writing things down. So I want to ask Mr. Thomas, okay, so I'm going to unmute Mr. Thomas, and we're going to go one by one. But I want you to notice how different your answers were. Every single person gave you a different response. Okay, Mr. Thomas, are you ready?
Let's see if we can get a volunteer.
You are my volunteer. Okay, who wants to volunteer? I see some pictures. Just put your hand up if you want to volunteer. And if not, then Mr. Thomas, tag your it. So.
Please, somebody, please.
All right, Mr. Thomas. Oh, we got Queen V. You volunteering? You volunteering? What? Okay, hold on. Let me get to you. Hold on. All right, so Queen V, I'm going to unmute you. Awesome. Good morning, beautiful. So, what did the warrior in you tell you to do at this very moment in your life?
It just basically said, like, that's nothing, come on. Like, so like a sword down and let's go.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, what did the magician in you tell you to do with your life right now?
It was like, yay, it's time to work, because it saw that this is the time to see the magic works.
I love it. Do you notice there are two different answers, but it was her in her head, okay? Now, what did the lover and the compassionate person in you tell you to do right now?
Love all. To see the good in all.
I love it. Okay, now last one. What did the sovereign, aka the queen in you, tell you to do? I love it. Thank you so much, Queen Bee. Everybody give her a round of applause for that amazing, amazing, amazing insight. And you guys got to hear it. Every single answer was different. So the reason I did this exercise was because it helped me so much over the weekend and I was just mind blown. So Tony Robbins did this exercise with Conor McGregor. Okay, that's where it came from. Now you guys have the same tool. You have the same tool. Everything you need is already inside of you. You just have to be willing to act on it and to listen to it. Sometimes we let the noise get so loud that we just can't hear our inner thoughts. Sometimes you just got to turn everything off. You got to go on a cleanse and just listen to yourself. What is it that you know that you should be doing? What is it that you know is going to move your business forward? What is it that you know that's going to move your life forward? Every single thing you do, ask yourself, is this moving me towards my goals or away from my goals? Every single thing. Ask yourself. You already know what to do. Listen to yourself and just do it. That's all it takes. This year, you're gonna go from being the underdog to the dog that's on top, okay? You're gonna go from being overlooked to overbooked. And I'm claiming that right now, and that's gonna happen. Every single person goes through things in life and you already know what to do internally, but we look for validation for other people. I want everyone to stop looking for validation. Do what you need to do for your family because opinions don't pay bills. Other people's thoughts and criticism of you doesn't pay bills. You will pay your bills. And then we get paid on them too. So that's just a plus. But anyways, with that being said, I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in.
Oh,